So Danny suggested that I videotape my experience, get a little audio to go along with the memories, and so figured I would try that. About a quarter mile in, starting on the AT from Hughes Gap, and it climbs 2,600 feet in the first 2.5 miles. So we'll start off with a little lung buster, but so far I feel pretty good. It's really nice. It's about, I don't know, 73 or 4 degrees maybe. Good little breeze. So I'll try to remember to do this along the way. Maybe I'll put something together at the end and have a little video to share with everybody. So I'm hiking along and I hear something hit the ground right beside me, and lo and behold, it's a mouse. Doesn't look too dead, and he's pretty wet. He fell out of that tree. So I'm wondering where the snake is that tried to eat him. So yeah, kind of interesting. Let's get out of here before he tries to come find his meal. So I'm about an hour in. I got an early start. Made it to the mountain. What's the name of that place? Mountain Harbor Hostel and B&B. At about I don't know, 2:30. My shuttle wasn't supposed to be till 3. Instead, I got there early, and they shuttled me up, and I got started at 3. But I want to take a minute and look at this. It's the first spruce tree or fir tree. I don't know which one. I think it's a fir that I've encountered. So the ridge at Roan High Knob and Roan High Bluff is a Appalachian spruce forest, and it's where the fairies and the elves live. So that's the first indication that I'm getting close to that, and should be just about to the top of the climb from Hughes Gap. And they've rerouted this since the map I had was made, and they've put a bunch of switchbacks in, so it's a little longer, but it's a little more gradual, and so it really wasn't all that bad. But I've kept a pretty good pace because I don't know if it will show up or not, but there's this kind of ominous cloud building to the south. I'm kind of going backwards because of the switchback, but hopefully it'll go more east and not north, which is the way I'm headed. So, but if it comes, we'll have an early shower. It's not been too long since the last video, but made it to the top of the ridge here in about an hour. So a pretty good pace. And it kind of just disappeared, but I got my first good view of Roan High Knob and Roan High Bluff, which is kind of the destination for today. You can see off in the distance, that's Roan High Knob. So excited to get there and cross these 2 peaks off the list. So I guess I didn't explain that later. The purpose of this trip is to get the 3 peaks of the South Beyond 6,000 in the Roan Highlands. So that's Roan High Bluff, Roan High Knob, and Grassy Ridge. So I've been to Grassy Ridge a few times, but I figured I'd get all 3 in one stab here and get this area knocked out. So that's looking back the way I came, and I'm about maybe 3 miles in, and so turn that corner, and all of a sudden, bang, you're in the spruce forest. So just quick as that. There were a few spruce trees along the way, but then all of a sudden just one transition and here we are. And for a lot of people, me included, this is my favorite kind of forest. A lot of people like this, just the You know, it's kind of dark and mystical, and pine needles on the ground and quiet. Just a neat place. So I'll get to be in this for, I don't know, next 5 miles or so. So looking forward to that. And then once we get out of this, we'll be out in the open for the next 7 or 8 miles. So it's exciting. So I'm on the last little stretch from a little saddle up from Hughes Gap up to the top here at Roan High Bluff. And it's been pretty neat walking through this forest, but it's been a bit annoying. I don't know if you can hear it off in the distance, but somebody's been running a backpack blower, and I've heard it for like the last mile. So it's been like a homing signal towards where I need to go, but at the same time, it's kind of, I don't know, been not as peaceful as it could have been. But I'll admit, this last little stretch has kind of gotten the best of me. It was a little steeper than I was expecting, and so it's been a little tough. And but it's been very solitary. I haven't seen anybody since Dave dropped me off at Hughes Gap, so that's been good. But I think that's about to change as I get to the parking lot here in just a minute. But yeah, got dark all of a sudden, didn't it? So the last video, real time, was only about 2 minutes ago, but I popped right out into the open here on top, and coming up on Roan High Bluff first. So get a little look over here real quick, kind of get a view of where I'm headed, towards that peak over there. And this is the former site of the Cloudland Hotel. So pretty neat. There's been a lot of videos kind of back to back here in a short period of time, but a lot has happened here in the last 15 minutes or so. So I made it to the ridge here, and I'm on the Cloudland Trail on the way out to Roan High Bluff, so I can nab that peak. And started to rain. So fortunately it's not a thunderstorm, it's just kind of a little shower, but honestly I'm so wet with sweat. I don't know if, let's see. Yeah, there you go. That a raindrop or two is really not going to make a lot of difference at this point. Fortunately, I know myself well enough to pack for that, and I've got an extra set of clothes and things in the bag, so I'm not terribly concerned. So the goal is to get to Roan High Bluff, mark that off, make it back to Roan High Knob Shelter, and probably hang out there for a while and wait this rain out and dry off, change clothes. Cloudland Trail this way. So that's the plan. It's about a little after 5, so I've got a solid couple hours of light left, so I'm not really worried about that either. Yeah, good day so far. So I don't know how well this is going to turn out, because my phone is in a plastic bag because the rain got heavier. But I just made it to Roan High Bluff, and didn't spend very long there because A, you can't see anything. Actually, that's B. B, you can't see anything. A is there have been a few claps of thunder in the distance. Nothing real close yet. But I didn't think it was a wise move to spend any time isolated on a platform at 6,200 feet with a thunderstorm in the vicinity. So I'm headed back down now to try to get to the shelter and get some shelter, because I got a rain jacket and my upper half is dry. My pants and shoes are pretty wet, but I got spares, and not spare shoes, but spare underwear and socks and such. So I expected rain, so I can't say that I'm surprised, but you know, it's a good, I don't know if it's a confidence builder or a skill builder or what, but I don't really mind it so much. It's not really cold. Feels kind of good, but getting a little heavier, so makes for an interesting day. So I made it back here to the Cloudland parking area, and I'm a bit wet, so I don't know if I can do a selfie in a video, but yeah, hair's a little wet, shorts are a little wet, but you know, it's all good. I got to figure out how far I've got to go before getting to the shelter here, so I'm going to stay wet until I get there, and then get there and make a plan. I want to see if I've got service to see some radar, but if not, it'll be alright. And fortunately I've got facilities here. They have paper towels, so I can get a little dry. I'm going to hang out here for a minute and see how it goes. Okay, so when I last left you, it was a little after 5, and it was raining like crazy. And I got pretty wet, but I made it here. So this is the Roan Highlands shelter, and it's the highest shelter on the AT, and it's actually cleared up quite nicely. It's pretty blue skies around, but it's windy, real windy, and so because of the wind, I'm actually staying in the shelter. But there's a loft, and I hung my hammock from the rafters. It's too dark to take a video, but I didn't really want to be in there, but it's out of the wind. And so there's a nice guy named Doug here who's from Mooresville and has been part of the Hikes and Hops group. And then I'm gonna walk up towards the peak. This is this is Roan High Knob, and I really hate that I'm not hanging in the hammock, because as you can tell from all the trees, this is hammock nirvana. Apart from the wind, it's pretty windy here. But I'm going to walk on up to get a little picture of the summit here. So I'll be there in just a second. Okay, so we're back. I had to stop and take a selfie with Doug Ray, and he's actually been with the Hikes and Hops group a couple times, so I need to look him up on Facebook. Post our selfie on the Hikes and Hops page, because now this is a group hike. So just wanted to walk up and check out the benchmark. I didn't get to do video of Roan High Bluff because it was raining like cats and dogs, but other than the wind, it's turned out to be a really nice night here. Like I said, I really regret that I'm not hanging between some of these trees, because it is awesome. This will be a good place to come back and maybe bring Beck back, because it's not a far hike up here from Carver's Gap. So here we are, Roan High Knob. So tap that one off the list. So one more tomorrow, Grassy Knob, Grassy Ridge, and we'll have the Roan Highlands covered. So it's about 8:15, and getting ready to sit down and write my journal, and this will be the only video, or the last video for Friday, and we'll see you tomorrow. Good morning. It's about 7:15, Saturday. Going down to get some water behind the Roan High Knob shelter. Slept really good in the shelter. Kind of glad to have it, because It came a pretty good rain in the night and been really windy. Everything is socked in, so I've got all my nice wet clothes on from yesterday. So need to get moving to warm up a little bit. I want to make sure I save some dry clothes for tomorrow or tonight. And it's a little chilly. It's probably mid 50s, but it's supposed to clear out and warm up mid-morning. So hopefully it does, so I can get the views that I came up here for, and fill up with water, get moving. I'll try to go as far as I can get today within reason, get to either Daw Flats or Bradley Gap to camp tonight, so I can have a nice quick trip in the morning. So I'm working my way down to Massey Gap from Roan Highlands. I thought I'd take a little shot here because this is a really neat piece of trail here. It's nice and smooth, and it's kind of fogged in, so it gives a little element of I don't know what kind of element it gives it, but it gives it some element. And you know, moss and ferns and little spring here with a footbridge. So even though it's fogged in, it doesn't really matter much here. It kind of gives this a little bit of extra that you wouldn't get if it was clear. So sometimes thankful for the fog, but just a really neat area right here. Okay, so here we are at Carver's Gap. It's a little blustery, a little foggy, but excited to be here nonetheless. I'm gonna make a stop by the privy here, and then head that way. So see you in a bit. So I think this is being called, and it's still pretty foggy. Every now and then a little bit of blue sky will peek through. So I'm hopeful that by the time I get to Grassy Ridge, or maybe a Little Hump Mountain, it'll clear up and I can actually see something. Toss around a couple ideas in the head here about what I'm going to do today. And the main objective is to cross off the 3 peaks, which I got 2 of them. I got 1 more to go. And if I get that done and the weather's still crappy, I might just push all the way through to 19E and just go home tonight. We'll see. I don't know. If the weather changes and it gets pretty, I might slow down and just enjoy it and extend out a little bit. But I don't know. If it stays like this, chances are I'll be pushing through today, but you never know. So every now and then you get a little view that makes you hope that it's going to change. But it changes very quickly, because I could see a lot farther than that just a couple seconds ago. Fingers crossed. Okay, so I'm on my way to Grassy Ridge, and as you can tell, the situation has changed. This trail from up to Grassy Ridge is kind of a thicket of blueberry and rhododendron, and I was in there and couldn't really see much, and then popped out on the other side and got all of this. So met a nice couple right down there from Knoxville. This is their first time here. They were kind of disappointed, and was standing there talking to them, and while I was, the sky is just open, and you get what you come here for. This is Roan Highlands at its best. All right, so I made it to Grassy Ridge, and this crosses all three peaks for the Roan Highlands off the list. And I gotta say, I got a lot of energy and excitement right now because it is just amazing up here right now. Above the clouds, this is looking back north towards the direction I'll head later. Kind of looking back south. In the clouds there is Roan High Knob, where I stayed last night. And clouds are still kind of rolling through this gap, but hopefully that'll clear up. But man, yeah, this is amazing. Just blue as blue can be. So hopefully this will continue through today. Still a little windy, but nothing that's too crazy. Okay, so back down from Grassy Ridge on the AT. I'm kind of disappointed because the AT at this point ducks back down into the woods and towards all of this fog and mess to the left here. But hopefully when I pop out on the other side, it'll take me, I don't know, maybe 3 miles or so to get to back out in the open. So maybe by then it'll be clear all around. Alright, it's been a while since I made a video. Just left the Stan Murray shelter. Came from way up there. That's Grassy Ridge. Kind of worked down that side over there, and now I'm headed towards the Over Mountain shelter, also known as the barn. And I doubt I go because it's a couple tents off trail, and I've been there and done that, so I'm probably not going to stop there. But just a good landmark. Then head up Hump Mountain, Little Hump Mountain, and as you can see, it's gotten clear. So it should have excellent views up on Hump Mountain. So I think I might stop there and spread out on a rock and let my socks dry out. My feet are kind of wet. It's not very pleasant. So been a good day. Just had a little snack at Stan Murray shelter. Met up with Doug again. He passed me when I went to the Grassy Ridge cutoff. Then we met up at the shelter and had a snack, and he's just behind me here. So I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do tonight. But the goal right now, I'm going to get to Bradley Gap, see how I feel, see what time it is, and make a decision from there. So, made it to Yellow Mountain Gap. This is where the Over Mountain men made the pass to go fight in the Revolutionary War. I think it's the Revolutionary War. Yeah, Revolutionary War in Kings Mountain. So, kind of a little bit of a famous place. There's some people around over there, and they're just passed a bunch of trail runners training for some races. So they went 6 miles out, and they're going 6 miles back. And probably won't see the camera for a little while because I'm about to do the climb up the hump, and it'll bust your hump. So we'll see y'all on the other side of that. So that's where I started this morning. That is Roan High Knob, and now we're headed up climbing Little Hump Mountain. So had a little flat spot with a good view, so I thought I'd take a quick little video. Just popped out into the open here in a little saddle just before Little Hump. That's Little Hump, looking west out to Tennessee, and over this other side is North Carolina. So one more little climb left to get to the top of the Little Hump, and then a little break and dry out some gear. It's about noon. I started this morning at 7, and I'm about 8 miles in, which is not a great pace, but I spent a lot of time up at Grassy Ridge just because it was so pretty, and a couple of other little stops to talk to some people. But my moving average right now is about 2 1/3 miles an hour, so I can live with that. And oh, here you go. So off in the distance there, that's Grandfather Mountain. So should get a better view of that from the top, and then kind of way off over there, Roan Highlands. So kind of cool to see where you came from. So welcome to Little Hump. I'm gonna spin this real fast, and from here, pretty much 360. So again, this Roan High Knob where I started, Grassy Ridge, and then way off in the distance here, that chain right there, that's the Black Mountains, and the one right in there in the distance, not this one but the one beyond it, Mount Mitchell. So that's next. We'll see you boys for too long. I need to figure out which mountain that is. It's just about as tall as the Blacks, but it's beyond. I don't know if that's Clingman's Dome, or I'd be surprised if you could see that far. I don't know what that is. And then looking off that way, Linville Gorge, Table Rock, Hawksbill, and then kind of obscured here a little bit, but Grandfather. So, and my destination for, I don't know, maybe today is Big Hump there. So we'll walk on down this way a little bit. And between Big Hump and Little Hump is Bradley Gap. And that was where I kind of said I was going to try to get to and decide what I was going to do today. So I don't know. It's a tough call. Either Bradley Gap or Doll Flats. I hadn't decided yet. So, but I'm going to pick a rock right over here and cup a squat for a little while. So I made it to Bradley Gap. A couple campsites here. One down in there, and there's a really good one hidden kind of down this little faint path here. I actually camped there a couple years ago. It's a nice place. So it's a little after 1, and so my goal earlier was to make it to Bradley Gap and then make a decision. So being that it's 1 o'clock, the decision right now is to keep on moving. So I've set another goal of getting to Doll Flat, and if I'm to Doll Flat by, let's say, sometime around 4 o'clock, I'm probably going to push on through and go to the car so I can get home and have a nice relaxing Sunday. If I'm there, if I get delayed, if I get up on top of Hump Mountain and sit up there for an hour and take in the views, I'll make it to Doll Flat and stay there. So that's the plan, and we'll probably get another video on top of Hump Mountain.
On Blogspot, and then I think they move over just about everything on Blogspot to a Facebook fan page.
Okay, so hiking to help refugees. That's it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Just came back out of the woods, leaving Bradley Gap, and opened up to a nice view of Hump Mountain here. So one of the neater parts of this whole trail is Big Hump, because this time, unlike the last time, it was clouded in. This time you can see the trail all the way up. So I don't know how well it'll show up on video, but it's a little bit intimidating because you can see where you gotta go, and basically it is straight up that thing. And so they need to rename these things to Bust Your Hump Mountain, because they're they're pretty tough. It's a good little climb. All right, just leaving top of Hump Mountain, and be my last set of views here for a little while of where I came, and get a good look again at the Black Mountains over there, and that's what I'm going to conquer next. And then kind of off this way, we've got Grandfather and Sugar, and then beach. So ski resorts. And, it's a little after 2, and I'm thinking I've only got 5 miles left. And so even if I average a mile an hour, I can be to the car by 7, I can be home by 10. So I'm kind of starting to think that's a no-brainer. That even though I'd like to see the stars and be out here another night, I also don't want to take a chance of getting wet again like I did last night and sleep in my own bed. So as long as I get to Doll Flats and feel pretty good, I think that's it. So it's been a good day so far, and hope it continues that way. One last little video before I go back in the woods. You know, most of the views are kind of gone, except out here towards Grandfather. Man, a little disappointed to get out of the views, but they've been awesome. It's been a great day. Yeah, gonna go through the gate here, and then about a little over 3,000 feet downhill in 5 miles. So this is a pretty gnarly downhill section, but looking forward to getting to Doll Flats and seeing how I feel and make a decision about the rest of the day. It's 3 o'clock, and I want to take a little video because I have been out here for 24 hours now, and it's kind of amazing to think about what all has happened in 24 hours. Got rained on, got wet, got dry again, stayed in the highest shelter on the AT, did 3 peaks above 6,000 feet, met a lot of interesting people, hiked, and it's almost 20 miles now, and so it's been a really full 24 hours. So been a good experience, and still thinking about what I'm going to do for the rest of the day here, and probably see y'all again at Doll Flat. This is Doll Flat, and I made it here by 3:15. So I'm I don't know, 13 or 14 miles into the day. It's been a pretty good day. There's a family up there. I hear some kids. Got a great campsite here off in the woods, and a fairly famous sign on the AT for the border between Tennessee and North Carolina. I see a lot of pictures of that sign. I took a bunch of pictures of it last time I was here. So I said I would, if I got here before 4 o'clock, I would go home, and it's 3:15. So I feel good about that. If I make the same pace that I have been, I'll be to the car in about a little over an hour. So here we go, leaving North Carolina. And so if I make that pace, honestly, I'll be home before dark. So that's fairly appealing. And so yeah, here's the camping area. Really nice and sheltered, some big rocks, and yeah, good times. So all right, keep on keeping them. Closing in on the finish. Got about a half mile before I get to the highway, and then I don't know, 3/10 of a mile back to the hostel to the car. So less than a mile to go overall. My feet have been bothering me for the last mile or two. I don't know if it's because they've been wet or what, but definite hot spots on the outside of my heels and the bottom of the ball of the foot. But nothing too terrible. Glad I don't have to go again tomorrow. But once I realized that I could make it home today, I pushed a little harder than what I was doing, just because I kind of realized I can make it home before dark. And so kind of picked up the pace a little bit. And it's about 4:15, so I should be back to the car by about 4:30. So this whole adventure was done in 25.5 hours, so not teabag. 4:30, and I'm back at Mountain Harbor, where I started yesterday at about 2:30. So good day. And my feet are paying the price right now, but I'm gonna get in here and take my shoes off and get a little air conditioning and ride home. So we'll see y'all later.